Before this body cam footage even begins, officers are responding to a violent rollover crash that left a vehicle heavily damaged and its driver visibly shaken. What starts as a routine crash investigation quickly turns into something much more complicated, as signs of possible impairment, emotional distress, and repeated refusals to cooperate put everyone on scene in a difficult position. Watch closely, because several critical decisions made over the next few minutes will determine how this investigation unfolds. Pay attention to what officers say, how they approach the driver, and whether you think they strike the right balance between enforcing the law and trying to de-escalate a tense situation.
I don't see anybody else.
Thanks, Ron.
No, there's nobody in this vehicle. Hi.
I saw it, but I wasn't involved.
Okay. Hey guys, the EMTs want to look at her. Excuse me. The EMTs want to look at her, and then we got to talk to her.
Fine. No. No.
Put him up.
No. No. I refuse service. I don't want it.
Okay, which car were you driving?
That one.
The silver one?
Silver. No. I don't want it. I'm fine.
Okay. Who else was in the car with
Nobody.
you? Okay, you don't need to yell at me. I just got
Sorry.
here. You have your driver's license?
No.
Okay, where is it?
Somewhere in the car.
Okay, don't talk to me like I'm an okay? I didn't crash your car.
I just.
And I'm just asking you a question.
Hey, I get it.
Okay.
I also went through a lie. So, you know what? Get the away from me.
How much you had to drink tonight?
Get away from me.
How much you had to drink tonight?
Get away from me.
How much you had to drink tonight?
I don't care. I don't care.
This is the first major turning point in the encounter. The driver has every right to avoid answering investigative questions and can ask for an attorney, but that doesn't prevent officers from continuing their investigation if they have independent evidence suggesting a crime may have occurred. Notice how the officers continue asking about alcohol consumption while also observing her behavior, speech, and demeanor. Those observations can become part of the probable cause analysis later on. Emotions are clearly running high on both sides, making communication increasingly difficult. What do you think at this stage? Should the officers have changed their approach? Or was this simply the reality of dealing with a highly emotional crash scene?
Fine. Join us in the fucking list. Get away from me.
Okay. How much you had to drink tonight?
I'm not answering any of your questions, but I'll lawyer. Is that what you want to hear?
Sure.
Okay.
Because you already reek of alcohol.
That's fine.
So-
You say what you want allegedly.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm alleging, because I can smell it over here.
Trust me, I'm a paralegal.
Okay.
Not at all.
Well, that's fantastic. Where were you coming from?
Not answering any questions, but I'll lawyer. Leave me alone.
Huh? Hey, I don't give a
Okay, I don't care what any of you have. I plead the fifth and give me a lawyer.
Okay. Well, you know, in that case, we're going to have to take you into custody and take you over to the hospital and get a search warrant and draw blood from you.
You can't draw blood from me without my consent.
I absolutely can with a search
You
warrant.
really? Okay, get the search warrant.
Okay, then we will.
Thank you.
Where's your driver's license in the car?
Not on me. In the car, in my purse.
Okay. Are you the registered owner of the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Kevin. See if you can get any further with talking to her. We got a strong odor alcoholic beverage coming off her. She's refusing to cooperate here. If that continues, take her into custody, take her over to Jersey Shore, and we're going to apply for a search warrant to get blood.
Take me. I'm not complying.
The tone of this interaction shifts dramatically here. Instead of arguing about the investigation, the driver begins talking about previous experiences with police and suggests she already expects to be arrested. Moments like this are important because officers aren't just evaluating possible impairment, they're also assessing the driver's emotional state and overall well-being after a serious crash. Trauma, shock, frustration, or intoxication can all produce similar behaviors, which is why investigators typically look at the totality of the circumstances rather than relying on a single observation. As this conversation continues, ask yourself whether the officers are gathering enough objective evidence before moving toward an arrest, or whether the driver's own statements are becoming just as significant as the physical evidence.
Handcuff me.
Personally,
I have been here plenty of fucking times. Trust me, I've been here. Handcuff me. Not complying.
I'm just gonna talk to you. I know it's talk to you.
Talk to me for one. No,
Because one, you're...
No, thank you.
Listen.
I already went through enough shit.
Listen,
I don't need this too.
I get it.
I already know I'm getting arrested. I already know I'm getting fined. I don't need the rest. I don't need the whole bullshit of go to my back hop.
I'm just...
I don't need it. I've been here.
He can be a little rougher. I get it. You're a little worked up. He's got a pretty good car accident, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm alive.
I need to make sure...
I turned the corner.
Remember, that car was just sitting where was that car at?
I'm not answering any questions.
Did you lose consciousness?
Not answering any questions.
150 head.
I'm just trying to talk
Not
to you.
answering any questions.
Bravo 84 radio hotel.
Look at my
He was past that and
That's why I'm talking to you to make sure
I'm not okay.
I know you're not. That's why I'm talking to you to see what we can do to
comes
make
back to
it.
me, Amber, and then
If you were
female.
hurt,
Amber,
if you lost
S36 0377 1075.
That's going to be the driver.
I know my license number. That's my dad's best friend that pulled me out of my own car.
I know, I spoke to him already. I need to make sure you're alright.
I'm not okay.
Physically, are you okay?
Yes.
Did you lose consciousness?
No.
The conversation takes a much more serious turn here. Up until now, the focus has largely been on the crash and the DUI investigation. But when the driver says she wishes she had died in the accident, officers immediately have another responsibility. Statements like these can't simply be brushed aside, especially after a traumatic collision. Standard procedure is to evaluate whether the person may be experiencing a mental health crisis, while also checking for possible head injuries or confusion. That's why you'll hear officers asking orientation questions like the date, the year, and where she lives. They're gathering information for both medical and investigative reasons. Do you think the officers handled this emotional moment appropriately, or would you have expected a different response?
Yeah, maybe.
Is your nose still bleeding?
I would have fucking died in that accident. Just wish I would have fucking died.
Where do you live at? Amber, where do you live?
Doesn't matter.
I need to make sure you're not concussed. I'm talking to you to make sure you know where you live, all your...
Bayville, New Jersey.
Do you know what month it is?
It's October
You know what year it is?
2022.
It sounds stupid, but I'm trying to ask you.
Alright, well, if you guys need anything, we'll be here.
All right, thank you.
Died in that accident.
peanut butter whiskey. If it falls on me, I'm retiring.
You'll get 66 and 2/3.
Alright, so inside the vehicle we have evidence of intoxicants. Open and partially consumed bottles of New Amsterdam coconut and Screwball peanut butter whiskey so far. Okay, take her into custody. Put your hands behind your back.
At this point, the investigation expands beyond what officers observed from the driver's behavior. The discovery of open and partially consumed alcohol containers inside the vehicle adds another piece of potential evidence, and combined with the reported odor of alcohol, the crash itself, and the driver's statements, officers decide to move forward with an arrest and seek a judicial warrant for a blood draw. Notice that they also communicate to hospital staff and dispatch that the driver has made suicidal comments, ensuring medical personnel are aware of the situation. Good investigations rely on documenting every observation instead of jumping to conclusions. Looking at everything you've seen so far, do you believe there was enough evidence to justify these next steps?
Yeah, the registered owner of that vehicle is in custody. 165 is going to be taking her to Jersey Shore for a blood draw. If you could have security meet him at the door, please. She's uncooperative and suicidal.
Dad's already on the phone. You got this. You go with them. You go with them. Die.
Hey, Vice. Do you have by any chance, do you have any masks in your car?
Sorry?
Do you have any masks in your car?
I'll check.
I need it's for the hospital. I don't have No, but I can see it clear.
Not putting one on.
All right. Over here.
Not putting one on. I'll put it on if I have to go to the hospital.
That's where we're going.
I don't want to go there. My landing station.
No, you gotta go to the hospital.
Why? Why?
Who the drivers? What's going on?
That's me.
Alright.
So I was coming over here,
You're coming.
and I saw her coming way too close to that car, and all of a sudden I was like, she hit it. She started, she flipped, and she landed on my car.
She was coming which way?
Yeah, this way.
She was coming this way? She hit
that car, the corner of the car, and then that impact flipped her. I tried to spin it to the right, but I didn't spin enough.
So she hit that car first?
Yeah.
Did you see her already flipping?
No, I saw her like.
Or she bounced off and then you hit her and that was...
So what happened was, I was looking forward, and I on the side, I was like, she's getting way too close. She hit that car first, flipped, and I just saw how she was falling on me.
I don't know. I kind of get it. That's probably her hood right there. Yeah, I see it. The hood's on top, all scratched up.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see how she flipped this way. Why are all these cars?
Where these cars are coming from?
Must went around the car.
Yeah, of course they go around the car. Better safe than sorry.
Did we get
Yeah, I got his
these
info.
folks? Okay.
I'm waiting for them to.
Yeah. What's the story with this?
He's coming this way. He said he saw her coming westbound. Was
You
close
already
to
want
that
to know
car.
if you're going to meet them at the ambulance bay entrance.
Then clipped that car and spun her, and then he didn't have time to stop.
All right, so she hit the car first.
Yeah. She hit that,
And then
flipped
came
it.
out into the lane of travel,
Yeah.
and he struck her.
Yep.
Okay.
What's up?
Amber, where is she?
She went to the hospital. She's all right.
I'm like her coworker. My
All right.
boss and everyone is like freaking out right now.
Yeah, she's all right. But she's gonna be going to the hospital. All right.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
she's all
EMT
right.
too, which is why I came. I'm assuming
I got you.
Belmore took her.
Yeah.
Were Caitlin or David working?
I don't think so.
They're my brother and sister.
I
They
got
work for Belmore. Oh, fuck. I was just with her too. What the fuck?
Where you guys come from?
Well, I was working. I don't know where she left early, and I was supposed to meet up with her because we were going to grab a drink for Eddie Tessa's birthday, and I didn't hear anything from her, nothing. And then my girlfriend just called me and goes, you're still at Bar 8, right? I was like, I just parked. What's wrong? She goes, I think Amber's the one that flipped her car. I come literally running in heels. Oh my god. Okay. Well,
Yeah, she's all right, but she is going to the hospital. So if you want to maybe head over there or call
Yeah,
them.
I'm gonna call my boss and fill them all in. I don't know the rules of her. She has this kid, so I'm assuming mom and the kid are gonna end up going, but I don't even know if they know. Okay. Thank you.
Yep,
Sorry
no
for
problem.
bothering.
As officers continue gathering witness statements, the overall picture of the incident becomes much clearer. The investigation now includes the physical crash scene, eyewitness accounts, the driver's condition, observations of possible impairment, and evidence recovered from the vehicle. Incidents like this demonstrate why major crash investigations are rarely based on a single factor. Instead, officers must piece together multiple forms of evidence while balancing public safety, constitutional protections, and the driver's medical needs. Ultimately, the courts, not the officers, determine guilt based on the evidence collected and the legal process that follows. What are your thoughts on how this investigation was handled from start to finish? Did the officers follow appropriate procedures, or is there something you think could have been done differently? If you found this breakdown as intense as we did, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life body cam breakdowns.